Hey music fans and music makers, Ari Koinuma here and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you my thoughts on what good looks like when it comes to music. In terms of what good looks like when in writing original music, of course it helps to first start with the goals of your music. And the goals of music differs depending on obviously the genre of the music, the writer, and what are you trying to accomplish. But I would say that I'm a rock songwriter. In the majority of what we consider popular music, rock, pop, metal, folk, Americana, that kind of thing, where you're listening for particularly composed songs, there are probably common goals that most of us strive to. So, for example, when I think of my songs, I want my songs to be interesting to listen to, and particularly interesting to listen to even after the listener listened to it multiple times. And I want my song to be memorable so that when people are not listening to my song, perhaps in the shower or while they're doing the dishes, they start humming a piece of or part of my music, right? And then I want my songs to evoke feelings in listeners, whether that's something poignant or sad or angry or even something funny or humorous, whatever the feeling is, I want the music to express feelings. And finally, I want my songs to be something that is my own expression. It needs to sound or feel like something that only I can write. I don't want it to be so generic that anybody could have written this, right? It needs to be something where a piece of me is in the song. Now, there are many other valid reasons or goals for making music. Maybe it's an experiment, or maybe it's just fooling around or being playful. Those are all valid reasons for writing music, and you can share music out of those goals. That said, if we are to assume that my four goals are agreeable as common goals for writing original songs in the genres that span the range that I just described, I would say that there are three qualities that you want to look at in your songs to make sure that the songs are set up to meet the four goals at a pretty high standard. So the first quality that I look for in the songs that I consider are good is expressiveness. And by expressiveness, what I mean is, going back to my earlier point, is it written from a distinct point of view, or does it express a distinct voice of the artist? It's possible to make music that use very tried and true type of material, whether it's chords or melodies or words, where you can listen to and go, I mean, that sounds like something I've heard before, right? True innovation is really difficult in music, but I do think that as an accomplished craftsperson, you can develop the ability to write in a way that has your own voice expressed in it. What that means specifically differs from songwriter to songwriter, so it's hard to generalize. It could be particular vibe, it could be particular way that the words come across, it could be how the melodies get structured, it could be types of chords that they tend to use or types of rhythm that they tend to use, right? It's okay for us to develop a particular language, but whatever they do, it sounds like it comes from a distinct individual, something that is specific to that creator is coming through in that music. The second quality I look for in my own songs is emotive. Does it conjure feelings? You might think, oh duh, I mean good music always does that, but actually it's quite possible, even when you intend to, try to put together music that has different non-cohesive elements that conjure up not very strong feelings at all. And good music to me is the one that is very clear about what feeling the listener is supposed to experience while listening to that music, and is effective at doing that. And again, there are lots of different musical elements that contribute to that, all come together to create that experience. But songwriters who haven't matured in that craft, I hear often conflicting elements that kind of distract me from perhaps the central feeling that the song is trying to convey. The third quality I look for in my songs is being memorable. And the ability to be memorable in a song comes with multiple factors involved or elements. It could be that it's obviously catchy or hooky, right? That is memorable. Or it might have certain turn of phrase or ideas that are contained that might be memorable too. Whatever it is, if I bother to create a song, I would love for it to be memorable so that the song leaves a more lasting impression on the listener than just something that they listen to it once or a few times and then forget about it. When a song doesn't reach a certain level in all three of those qualities, the result is not so great song. And when the song is not so great, even if it's performed really well with high production value, it ends up not being great song. For example, I'm sure many of us can think of those annoyingly catchy songs where, yes, they're memorable, but you don't really want to remember that song because it just kind of doesn't leave your mind and it just fills you with certain feelings that you don't want to feel. It might be shallow, it might be annoying. You don't enjoy the song, you don't end up not liking the song at all, even though it's catchy and hooky. While many other songs, they may express something about the artist, but there's no hook, there's no memorable part of it, so it just kind of is like the filler tracks in the albums that you don't remember and you don't appreciate and you don't listen to. I am not saying it's easy. In fact, it's really hard. But that being said, if you set your goal there and keep working on a song until you feel that it meets all the standards for those criteria, what results is that as a songwriter, you get confident about your ability to create music of certain standards, and every song that you write that you bother to finish, you're like, wow, I like this song. Alright, so let's listen to some great artists and see if the three qualities that I just discussed can be observed. So this first act is AC/DC, and as you know, they are one act who know exactly who they are, and they always show up with that and nothing else. They're very focused, and they know perfectly well how to do that thing that AC/DC does, and it's very consistent. And this is a track off of their latest album, Power Up, which is already 4 years old at the time of this filming, but they play this song in their set list in the recent tours, so they must think that it it sits well with other classics they have in their catalog.
He loves to drive him crazy with his evil lips. Great guns are blazing. My deadly trip. Devil on a deadline, gonna send you down. Demon fire, it's all you desire. Demon fire, it's all sapphire.
So yeah, that song has all three in spades. That devilish grin that is uniquely AC/DC, that horns up, that rebel attitude is right there from the get-go. It's very playful, but it's also ballsy and bold and no frills. AC/DC, uniquely AC/DC in terms of the guitar riff, guitar tone, the straightforward but really groovy groove, right? And it's memorable. It's a catchy da 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 la 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 la. I mean, I haven't listened to this song that many times, but I can sing that riff, right? All right, now let's listen to a couple songs from an icon from my generation, Nirvana. Oh, I don't need to play this whole song, right? I mean, you guys know how the song goes. It's so iconic. And again, it conjures a particular feeling of disillusion and defiance there. It is very catchy, including Dave Grohl's drum fill. And it is uniquely Kurt Cobain, that nobody else could have written that song, really. But listen to something else by Nirvana. This is Aneurysm. It's from the EP Incesticide. I would consider this a deep cut in a way. You can't listen to that song and go, yeah, that is so much worse, or that Smells Like Teen Spirit is like miles and miles better as a song at the songwriting level. I mean, they're both equally catchy, they're both equally expressive in terms of Kurt Cobain's nihilism and cynicism and wry smile kind of thing, and it definitely gives me a particular feeling, right? Both of them. Yeah, you could argue that Smells Like Teen Spirit is just a tad more iconic, but Kurt Cobain really had it in terms of songwriting excellence. He knew what good looked like in his song, and the songs that he bothered to finish, that he recorded with his band and then released it, they all reached certain quality. And again, he's obviously an exceptionally talented generational writer, but like, why aren't more artists, if not similarly, but at least more consistent in their songwriting qualities? And speaking of artists who are less consistent than Nirvana, this band used to be my heroes, but yet I feel like the recent output comes nowhere close to the standards that they set at their best. U2. Oh man, that is just such an iconic song. And when that feeling of, it's like a soundtrack to some movie scene where the main character is running through some open field and with big sky and arms wide, and and then that first few lines come and those lyrics tell you exactly how you're supposed to feel in this song. And it's catchy, and it's again big hearted in a way that only Bono and U2 can really be, and it's great. It's an amazing song. But then compare that with this single from their most recent album that had original songs.
Oh, you've seen enough to know it's children who teach. You're still free enough to wake up on the bed of a beach. You're the best thing about me, the best thing that ever happened to a boy. You're the best thing about me, I'm the kind of trouble that you enjoy. You're the best thing about me, the best things I.
When I listen to You're the Best Thing About Me, I can't help but feel like it feels like a song that is written by perhaps like a teenager, sort of a beginner songwriter who is learning how to put a song together, kind of thing. It's fair for an artist to say, well, I don't want to recreate Joshua Tree, I don't want to recreate Arcton Baby, I want to explore other things. But then, like, U2 had it as far as being expressive, memorable, emotive are concerned, and it's possible to achieve that without recreating your work of the past. But with the recent albums, I don't feel that they really are operating from the same standards. They just feel like a bit lax. They're just sitting on their sort of big budget production and going, well, I feel like making up songs, so I'm going to make them up, and there's just no energy behind their recent output as far as saying, yeah, I want to make it achieve the same heights that some of my classics did. and maybe that's not their goal, which is fine. But if they want it to be relevant, if they want it to be reclaim their throne as the best band in the world, which at some point they made big claims like that, I don't feel convinced. Anyway, the point of this video is not to criticize and pick apart those who seem inconsistent or who don't seem to aspire. It's to more to empower those who do aspire and say, I want all my songs to achieve certain heights or standards. It's helpful to know what good looks like. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching. I'm going to leave you with one of my songs which I feel very proud of, and that in my mind I achieved the standards that I set out to achieve with this song. Whether you agree with it or not is a different story, of course, but I feel proud of what I've created. So I'd like to see how it strikes you. Alright? If you enjoyed this content, please give me a like and subscribe, as that will really help me keep going. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.